Okay, my mom is awake, so I can talk about this. But so I know a lot of you guys are like, yeah, well, if you worked with us, you wouldn't have this wouldn't have happened. But that's not really the problem here. The problem is the fact that people are still like stuff like this is happening, even when people are doing their job. That's because um, you know how thank you on Twitter I said something. No, I'm not fired. I know how to do almost everything there. Like I know how to take care of the dogs, I know how to do the front, I know how to organize, I know what the owner wants, I know how to sell packages. I know way too much and I know how to do too many things for them to want to fire me. Unless it's something else that's internally or externally or whatever that has nothing to do with me following the rules and doing the best that I can to benefit the company or business. Got to be something else. So, no, the reason why I can say that is because, like, you guys all know that I've done almost everything possible and the best way that I know how to do it possible. Fucking English. But, so I said, I can talk to my boss, so I know he isn't racist, and it's actually a problem a lot of corporations have. What I mean by this is, for me, I can talk to my boss, right? Like, my boss is always watching the camera, so there isn't like so you know how a lot of corporations they're like, oh, I think there was something about Google employees saying how like their bosses or whatever are watching them too much. Google employees, uh, privacy something. Um, wait, employee privacy is at stake in the U.S. Corporate surveillance monitors workers' every move. Like if you guys have seen like how I do everything by the rules and I follow the rules and like I work my best and I do my best, stuff like this actually helps employees like me who do everything that they're supposed to do. And usually only the people who are complaining about it are the ones who aren't doing anything and have no innovative skills and cannot uphold their employment contracts. So that's kind of why, I mean, there's a lot more than to it because that's also why I was saying like the Hells Angels Hitman stuff, because like anybody can see security cameras anywhere at any time. Like that's why, corporations spend so much money on hiring cybersecurity personnels, or like they have like some of the IT people are usually like veterans, like government veterans, and that's why I've been encouraging people to hire veterans until there's been fake valors and like, stuff like that. So, there's actually a lot of things that I'm doing currently that helps a lot of corporations because like all the spy stuff, it's kind of true because it's like you're sending stuff in between countries. So yes, you're a spy because it's no longer just trade secrets. Like you're actually changing politics and you're affecting the economic policies because of what you're doing and the information that you're trading. You know what I mean? This is like kind of like corporate level, but on an hourly wage level, the reason why that's bad is, or for me, it's really good because it's like how like Walmart hires like employees who are like mentally incapable or like handicapped or like have some kind of like handicap incapability or whatever compared to a lot like other employees. Oh my god, why are we so stacked? So uh there's just like a lot of things that like hourly wage jobs, thank you. So you know how like my tweet thank you was like, sorry, there's just so much information I'm trying to say that like it's hard to put it into one thing. So there is. I don't have enough time. Okay, so well, I said luckily my boss. So you see how like in terms of this way, like I actually appreciate my boss looking at the cameras, right? So and it's not gonna be weird because it's like, well, he's not gonna have enough money to hire cybersecurity, like you know what I mean? So like I don't even think he really has a choice. Like even if he wants to have better security, like the most that he can possibly do is just to have cameras. But like on a super tech level, like he's not really gonna have any way of like even having the money to hire securities to like watch the security cameras, you know. So like that part is kind of screwed on his end because I don't think he makes that much money. So the reason why I made this tweet, thank you, is because my boss, I know he's not racist because we can talk to my like I can talk to my boss, you know. But on a corporate level, like nobody knows whose fault this is because if you look at this corporate ladder, corporate, yeah, okay, here. So right here it's super easy to tell because it's like there's the oh shit. There's the executive management and entry level, right? So is it the entry level that's complaining or is it the managerial? Because the managers want reasons to fire useless employees, so this must be on the entry level, not the executive level. And most of the time, like whatever's happening here doesn't ever get back to the executive level. So I mean, easily a lot of corporations can be seen as racist because it's like if one of the managers are treating you like racist in any way, right? You're gonna think like the corporate is allowing it because the executive level is not gonna talk to the entry level. So, I mean, from this kind of perspective, can you see like how having a small business, I know like where it's coming from because I was just talking to my boss today and he kind of pretty much wants me to follow the rules because he is watching the cameras. So I think he's fully aware of all the stuff that a lot of people are doing, but considering how nobody wants to scoop up shit constantly, it's just pretty much me and the manager because the supervisors don't have any power, but they just have the title kind of thing, so which is the same thing as management. So can you kind of see how like this is like exactly the same thing as a corporate level? And considering how Foxconn has either had well, actually, Foxconn doesn't really have that problem because of how like the company is structured. So it rewards hard work. It doesn't punish it. And you know, our bot or the Foxconn guy is pretty. You know, he pays attention to the whole situation. You know, and I think that's where this is coming from because I think a lot of people who are here are not doing their job, which is kind of like the whole thing about like, oh, you don't have a right to watch the security cameras because it's our privacy kind of thing, or like you know what I mean? He'll purposely turn off lights or whatever, and like you know. So there's, I mean, I can go into this like really go into this later on, but for now, I'm not fired yet. I am not in trouble yet. So until everything is set, there's gonna be a lot, a lot of things that I can say that has a lot to do with corporate America, racism, and how a lot of the elites are getting blamed for shit that they probably never have ever done. Because I know a lot of you guys think like, oh yeah, my boss is racist for like forcing these things to do, but then it's kind of like it's not really my boss that is the problem. The problem is that nobody wants to do this job, and I think that's where a lot of the white supremacists are getting that idea because they're like, well, why are these corporations, all these rich people keeping these useless employees, and why are they allowing these useless employees to come and harass us? And a lot of times they think, oh yeah, you know, all these corporations are taking the good workers, and you know, as a corporate you can't just talk to every single person and be like, no, they're all just as useless, like you know, because of that employee privacy shit. So then like there's just a lot of things that like you know what I mean, that just it doesn't really make sense when you get the actual evidence. And that's why I was like talking about the Hells Angels and the Hitman and stuff, because it's like it's honestly at this point, because he cannot hire anybody for privacy, it's pretty much public information because he literally has yeah. So like you know what I mean. And like I don't even think my boss really has a choice because like it's not like he can even fire them because it's like nobody wants to work here. And that's why like I'm always doing pretty much 2-3 jobs at once, and I'm perfectly fine with it, with the whole like wiping shit stuff, because it's like sometimes you know like nobody wants to work and it's really hard because not everybody knows how to take care of big dogs. Like most people, they see a big dog and they get scared, or like they think hitting a dog is okay, but like these dogs are not yours. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you may be able to hit your own dog. No, thank you, but you cannot hit somebody else's dog. And if and a lot of the our employees have been doing stuff like not taking care of the dogs and letting the dogs get into fights and then being like, yeah, well, you know, the owner's just gonna go to like the owner's just gonna what is it? Gonna take the dog to the vet and then pay for it. So it's like honestly it doesn't even fall back onto me, and that's actually what a lot of people in corporations do too. Because they're like, what are they gonna do? I'm so poor, they're just gonna sue me for something, like misrepresenting their brand. There's nothing that they can fucking do about it. So, depending on what happens to me at this job, there's gonna be a lot of things that I can drag corporate into as well, because I know they deal with the almost exact same problem. And I'm trying to take care of the whole like, oh yeah, elites, they don't understand what our problem is, they don't take care of it. I'm like, honestly, I'm pretty much doing this job so you guys can understand how many similarities there are and what the actual problem is. So, I mean, depending on what happens at work, you guys will hear about it, and you see how like now you guys are like, damn, I kind of want you to get fired. I don't ever want you guys to feel scared to do what is right, because if I actually started fucking around and I wasn't doing my job properly, I would actually not have this much ability to say like, look at all this fucked up shit they're doing to me, even though I've done everything. You know what I mean? Because when you're in a corporate job, it's pretty much like me at an hourly wage job, right? There's a lot of things you guys can do outside of your employment contract to help, like, you know what I mean, buy an iPhone when you don't really have to buy an iPhone, or like, you know what I mean, like that kind of stuff. There's no company reimbursements, like if you buy a full price iPhone instead of a employee discount iPhone. Like, there's a lot of small things like that that I can really just really fuck you guys up on. So I keep my silence when there's no problems, because when you start correcting people even when they haven't done anything wrong, that's when it becomes like abuse. So I just gotta hope that they fuck up enough for me to be able to say something. I mean, obviously my boss isn't gonna be able to do anything, because so one of the problems is like, there's no way that my boss is gonna let us work like 24 hours a day. Like, that honestly just doesn't even make any fucking sense. You know what I mean? Like, me and my boss were like only two people, right? I mean, me and my manager, my female manager, we're only two people. So like, it's not like we can stay there like 24 hours a day and then do it, right? And I think that is probably one of the biggest arguments in the whole corporate is taking everything, because it's like all these people think like, okay, because they're higher skilled workers, if they didn't have these corporate options, then they would choose hourly wage jobs and they would do just as good. But it's like, what you guys don't understand is these people are just as fucking lazy. Like, whether they have a corporate job or whether they have an hourly wage job, they're not going to change who they are. Like, that's honestly not going to change. So like, that's kind of why I'm doing this job, because I want to show you guys like, it doesn't have anything with corporate. It honestly doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, people want to do it or people don't want to do it. And no, that's why there is such a big problem with corporations not finding innovative employees, because they're like that, no, they don't want to do anything. And that's why I feel for like small businesses like this, where it's like animal service, or like, you know what I mean, because you cannot replace them with robots. Like, for us, it's fucking easy, banking, tech, we can replace them with fucking robots. But like, these guys have nothing. And that's actually another reason why I wanted to do this job so much.